Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. Today I wanted to go through something that I feel I don't cover very often, and that's non-baseball. So without getting into kind of oddball and some of the unique things that are out there, superheroes and comics and celebrities and rock stars and all that kind of stuff, just keeping it as kind of mainstream sports. Growing up, I thought there was always kind of the big three in the U.S., and then I think, hockey's eventually become kind of the big four, and as we become a little more global, I think we have big five, and soccer obviously worldwide is number one. So I just wanted to share some of my outside of baseball collection, and definitely if you compiled everything together, it's still a small fraction of what my baseball is in terms of focus and value and quantity and everything else, but still really cool and still a fun part and a component of what the hobby is and where we find some enjoyment and spend some time focusing. So just to share, these are what I probably would have thought would be some of my biggest cards. Jim Brown rookie, kind of a unique, what is that now, 60-year-old Pele card that one's from Germany. The Larry Bird, Magic Johnson rookie card, which Larry Bird is definitely a big focus of what I collect outside of baseball. In the basketball realm, he's probably the number one guy I collect. And then Gretzky rookie. So having one of those, I think, is essential. If you're going to go hockey, you got to get a Gretzky, right? But I did want to show, these are not my biggest cards. These are like almost the runner-ups. They're what I would have thought it would be. So just a real quick run through of really my five biggest. So in football, I was able to acquire one of these guys. Really, really neat set, Sport Kings. So within baseball, obviously there's some options there as well. Carl Hubble, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, quick off the top of my head notables. But I thought this was just a really, really neat, clean example. You'll notice I'm a back write-up guy. I'm an image guy. I'm also a numbers person, quite a bit. I was born in 1977, so I always have a bias towards 77 cards, but it's so recent that's not really as exciting to collect. So, why Red Grange? Other than he played for the Bears, which is, obviously I grew up in Indiana. I would say Chicago, Indiana, so right outside Chicago area. But Red Grange is number 77 and played for the Bears. So how cool is that? So let's tie that in, make that fun. And he's obviously got an interesting story. A little bit of football, a little bit of acting. Definitely took on that celebrity kind of status back in the day. So really happy to have that in the collection. That's my biggest football card. To go in order, so soccer. It's kind of shocking how similar the images are, but I was able to pick one of these up. If you're not familiar with soccer cards, a lot of them being international and beat up makes it extremely rare. This one's it's a blank back, which obviously the back is a big part of the reason that it got a 1. The front, I think, presents pretty decently. The series is known as the Red Dot series, and I basically came across this. I wanted to get some Pele cards. I wanted to get some soccer in my collection just to be rounded, just to represent it. And Pele's, I kind of know Messi. I know a few of the modern guys, but Pele historically is kind of the Babe Ruth in my eyes. So when I started searching, I basically just looked at unique, cool cards, rare, and obviously some of them get to be really, really, really expensive. And this one's only really expensive. But they label this the Red Dot. It's very low population. Tens of them in existence, I believe. I can't even really say the name of the set. That's just not within my scope of abilities. But 1962-63. And the one thing that really opened my eyes to this in a different way, I think it's a neat looking image, but they really call it the Pele 49 Leaf Jackie. And when you look at the colors, the way it pops, the way it shows, and actually in comparison to the other one, they're kind of a nice side-by-side. So, not really in action kind of stuff back then. It was just a lot of portrait images, but neat addition to the collection. And that's kind of my big Pele card. I don't have a rookie or anything of Pele, so that's my big one. Going to basketball, very, very tough to narrow it down to one. So just told you guys where I grew up, Northwest Indiana, right outside Chicago. So to do basketball cards and not do that, nearly impossible. That thing, if you were to not look at the grade, I don't think presents too poorly, especially at a distance. It's a 2, it's affordable. Does it have some damage to it? Sure. Does it reduce the enjoyment? No. None of it's not readable. Centering is fine. I mean, all the little easy marks. The corners aren't even bad. There's a little ding at the top, and I believe there's some creasing to this thing, but I think it's a nice 2. I feel like this is the stock market of basketball cards. Jordan cards tend to go up, down, left, right, sideways, everything on such a regular basis. I don't know if I got a great deal, a terrible deal, or just a fair deal at this point because of how the price moves, but I feel like you kind of, especially being a Chicago area native, you kind of need a Jordan in your collection. So that's always going to be a big card. That's always going to be a marquee basketball card. And the other one, where I always caught a lot of flack, I always said if you want to go with best player ever, you get the Jordan, you get the, now the LeBron discussion, Bill Russell with championships. But I always argued this guy. I was always a fan, maybe not of character. At least some of his stories were pretty outlandish and not necessarily as admirable as we might hope, but in terms of athletic dominance, I mean, he went and played volleyball at a elite, amazing world-class level after basketball, but he was supposed to be as strong as all get out and just jump, out of the building, and 7-footer, just amazing athlete. So I always look at best player. One of the things you can throw into is just, dominance. If you put scoring seasons in perspective, him by himself would be a top duo on the list, without a teammate included. So he was extremely dominant in his era. But a nice Wilt rookie, again a 2. So I don't know, maybe in basketball cards I just like 2s. But I was hunting for 1s, and I think I picked this up for more like fair 1.5 price or something. So I was like, yeah, I'll do a 2. It's off cut, which I know some people will be not as thrilled with, but I'm good with it. It's a good, solid Wilt. So that's 4. And I had to double down on basketball just because I don't know how you break the tie between the Wilt and the Jordan rookie. And then hockey, as you will come to see, you see the little statue in the background. It's funny, in baseball, people think I'm from St. Louis. In other sports, they probably think I'm from Boston because I do have a lot of Larry Bird stuff, and I also have a good collection of Bobby Orr. So I wanted to complete his player run of cards, at least the base. I know there's a lot of O-Pee-Chee variances, different things, but I was able to pick this up. Yes, BVG holder, I'm totally fine with that. This did come from Canada, which is also not surprising. But pretty clean. Some of the ones that are out there get to be really beat up. And so I thought, if I can get something better than a 1, and this was probably at more or less 1 pricing because the BVG holder, so people just penalize it so much. It's definitely creased. It's definitely got corner wear. Centering for this set is brutal often, so I consider that to be pretty solid. That's decent, nothing wrong with that. Good image, even though there's a big crease there, his face is not, destroyed, or it's not like a bad image. The inaction part, the color of it all. So really happy to have a Bobby Orr rookie. Probably would have taken one in blender condition just to have it because I'm such a fan of Bobby Orr, but really happy for that to be my number 1 hockey card. So yeah, that is my top 5 sport non-baseball card collection. I don't know how you word that. That's why I'm just laughing at myself. But kind of brings in a little bit of the other stuff in the world. The one thing that's interesting when you go non-baseball is, I mean, Red Grange has some age to it, but everything else is kind of like 60s and up. There's just not the historical context. I know there's, Gordie Howe, but even that still keeps you kind of in the 50s. We just don't have that same extreme age and history and story of what baseball does. But sometimes reaching outside of baseball and getting some other sports involved is fun and helps make the collection nice and well-rounded. So yep, I'll be back next time with another video. I'm sure I'll go right back into baseball because that's the sweet spot and that's the main focus. But a little bit of stuff out there. Anyone else collect in this realm? So other 4 big sports, I would say I collect 2 with a little bit of hockey and a very small dabble in soccer. But yeah, just wanted to share. I'll see you guys next time, and please share what else you collect because I do think it's interesting. Thanks.